Hello, hello, happy Friday. Sorry, YouTube was popping up a reminder about moderators. So, Kimberly, Jason, hello. Thank you so much both for being here. I treasure and value you very much for your assistance. And I got breakfast in my teeth. Oh boy. All right, sip of tea. How's everyone doing? Maybe drop a word in the comments. YouTube loves the early engagement. Drop a word about how you're actually doing. How are you feeling today? How are you feeling today? Welcome back too after several weeks of not being live. I'm still waiting for YouTube to send this out. Let's see. There we go. How are you feeling today? There we go. I think it's coming around. Yeah, let me know in the comments. We're gonna do a little energy boost. This is not a paid promotion, but I have New Moon Beginnings natural essential oils, and it's also got little crystals in there. We're gonna do a little energy boost. I think I see a little carnelian in the bottom there. How's everyone doing? Are we relaxing into our Friday, to our weekend? Are we stressed? Are we having a good time? Where are we at with things? Jason is feeling inspired and motivated. That's wonderful. All right. Let me know if you're joining in, if you're just now seeing things and dropping by, say hello in the chat. And put a little bit of, this is a Warrior 3 essential oil on. Smells good. Today's some oils and spritzers. Let's see if I can get this. There we go. Happy Leo season. Do I have any Leos in the house yet? Any Leos in the house? All right. The more you comment, the more you will show up as a top fan. So we definitely want to have some nice, healthy, stable, consistent engagement today, which can be a lot of fun. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes, maybe for the algorithms to send things out here. Sometimes it takes a moment. And I was also not here last week, so YouTube did not like that as much. YouTube did not like that as much for me being gone. I was on vacation though, and everybody needs a vacation. Today I have a black tea with bergamot, and it's really good. It's from, again, not a paid promotion, Arbor Teas. High quality organic tea. Kimberly is feeling encouraged. Good, good. Is there a certain area of life that you feel encouraged toward? Is it, or just in general? Are you just feeling that encouragement in general? There's definitely some astrological aspects that could be affecting that. Perhaps Pisces North Node. We still have Mercury retrograde going on, and I think Chiron is the wounded healer is getting ready to retrograde. That should be interesting. So it's good to find those moments where you feel encouraged in the midst of everything. And also we just had a very powerful Leo new moon. Did anyone set intentions for the new moon? Did anyone do any kind of rituals for the new moon or work with that energy in some way? Let me know in the comments. Let me know. Hello, if anyone's joining, hello, I'm Stephanie. Welcome to Creators on the Crest. If you haven't checked out my channel, I do tarot, but much more as well. This channel, and I'll talk real quick, this channel isn't only tarot. Certainly I utilize the tarot as visual aids to the intuition that I naturally have, but we talk about a lot of good things through working with the cards and working with the different energies. So welcome everyone. I think the algorithm has finally caught us here. And happy Leo season to all my Leos out there. Happy birthday to you. But just the fire of Leo season is here for us. And so if you have any of that lion heart energy, let me know in the comments. It really helps to get the comment and chat going. And I want to welcome everyone that's coming on. Wish you all a happy new moon, happy Leo season, and I hope you're enjoying the energy. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of colliding energies as well as passing energies and more passive energies. So we're going to get into all of that today. And I've just come back from a trip with Jason and friends and my good friends to South Padre Island, Texas. So that was where I was at last week, and we had a great time getting out to some of the beautiful beaches out there, and seeing like the what's it called, SpaceX. I don't know, SpaceX. I've already forgotten what it's called. You have to pardon my brain, but yeah, it was a really fun trip. We got to see little Kemp, Ridley, which are really endangered sea turtles, get released. They released about 300 of them. I do not speak Spanish, but hola, very little, un poco. Is that how you say that? Very little Spanish. But I also have, on my videos though, I do have the auto dubbing feature turned on. So some of my videos, some of my more recent videos have probably been translated into Spanish, Espanol, and I hope you enjoy listening to those. And maybe if you do listen to those, Abid, let me know if you feel like the translation was good, because we're always looking for feedback on that. So, and do I have any other YouTubers here? Say hi. Say hi. Are you putting out content? All right. All right, so just a few reminders. If you're new to Creators on the Crest, I hope you stick around. I hope you check out my channel. We've got lots of lives going. We've got lots of long form and short form content going. There is an active community post section, and a lot of people don't realize this, but now it's kind of like other platforms where you can go on to the post section and pull up a post on a YouTube channel, and it will invite you to get a discussion going in the community. So let's say you might have like a general question for me that you think other people might be interested in. I do not do personal readings in that section. I do personal readings, personal mini readings on Sunday evenings, but you might enjoy actually participating in the community chat. Maybe you have a question about spirituality or tarot or entrepreneurship or being a small YouTuber, and you might want to put that question in my community chat. So you can now do that. Be sure to check out the post section, because that's where it can get more interactive. And then also on my videos, be sure you check the description below. That's where I highlight what our theme for the day is, or for the reading or the video. And underneath that, you have all the ways you can connect with me on social media. You can check out my website. You can check out, I have a link for, and it's just an affiliate link. It's not a paid promotion, but for Pacha Soap Company, they do bath bombs, because I'm really big into self-care, bath bombs and soaps, and they're really natural and healthy, and it's something I can really get behind. So check that out. I've got a link for that. If you'd like a personal reading, you're really wanting to go deeper into things, I have a link to my personal reading there. But just a quick tip, if you do go visit my website, you will see some other reading options there. Be sure to follow me on Instagram. From time to time, I do run specials in my Instagram stories. So do keep an eye out for that. They're little like power-packed specials. And then, yes, Kimberly, my lovely moderator, has it. And she has said this Sunday, 7/27, starting at 7 p.m. Central Time, I will be live doing personal mini readings, okay? I go from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. and it's a hard stop, typically a hard soft stop at 8 p.m., but we go with that hour-long boundary. So if you can come in early, if you're looking for that personal reading, hi Ashley, Yosue Reyes, hello, hello. I hope I said your name right. Hello and welcome to Creators on the Crest. But you can come in at early, at like closer to the 7 p.m. mark. Drop your question in and I just go right through and do little personal mini readings. That perk is for subscribers only, so you do have to be subscribed in order to participate in the Sunday live Q&As. And currently they're running every other Sunday night, and one is coming up in 2 days. So mark your calendar for that. And I look forward to getting that out very soon. Keep an eye on my channel for that. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you do get all the notifications as well. All right, shall we get into some things today? Is there anything else I missed? The community post tab, the description, the live Q&A. Oh, just a quick reminder for everyone about how to interpret the readings. There's no hard and fast way, but my biggest encouragement to everyone is to trust your own inner guidance system, trust your own intuition, okay? So while these readings are general, there's going to be times when I'm going through the energies and you're going to be like, yes, that's me. Like that might feel like she knows what I'm doing even. Then there's going to be other times where you're like, that doesn't really land in me. And that's okay. You can let those things go. So take what resonates only. Don't feel like you have to make certain energies fit into your life or into your inner work that actually don't work for you. We really want you to get the highest and best messages, but I will also say the more you put your energy and attention, the more you're participating, the more likely the chances are that I'm going to pick up on your energies in this collective energy read. Okay, so that's kind of how that works. If you have any questions, just drop them in the chat. I'd be happy to do my best to answer it. Every tarot reader is different. They have their own styles, and I have my own style as well. But I just wanted to kind of cover that for a reminder for those of you who've been here, but also for new people who might be coming on board. Okay, and just a reminder, as you comment, right, as you comment, you get marked as a fan, and you get these like XP points, and it might put a little crown next to you. Right now my moderators are in the lead, so I'd like some other people to comment and ask some good questions and maybe just make some good observations as we go, right? I didn't think last time it wasn't looking like this to me. I can see it now, so they've done some updates, but I didn't think the moderators could even participate, but I guess they kind of can. But out comment my moderators in a positive, healthy way, and we'll be good to go. Welcome to anyone who has joined. I hope you enjoy our time today. I have not done any timestamps yet. I'll have to go back and grab those. So I'm going to grab one now at 1311 for those of you who are into numerology. Today, we're talking about movement. We're talking about mystical momentum and all of the different ways that movement can happen. Sometimes the movement flows, sometimes it crashes, sometimes it's chaotic. And so I really want everyone to just focus on several questions here. And if you're the kind of person who likes to journal, you might want to have your journal and pen out, and you might want to jot these down. How do you move? How do you move in the world? Let's say you take 3 descriptive words and you share with yourself, or you can share with us here in the comments, how you move in the world. Is it intentional? Is it fast? Is it creatively? How do you move in the world? Now we want to look at how we're currently moving in the world. And then also ask yourself the follow-up question, how is it I would like to move? Are there any differences there? Am I good with how I'm moving in the world, with my movements day to day, how I'm moving the energy, how I'm thinking, how I'm feeling? Am I good with that? Or is there something I would want to improve upon? And that's what we want to that takes you a little bit deeper. So it's a good journaling prompt. How do you move currently? Being really honest with yourself. And then how would you like to move if that current movement is not quite what you're looking for, right? So maybe right now you're feeling stressed and chaotic. And if you're honest with yourself about that, that's part of the journey, is bringing that to your own attention. And then also, we could say, where do I want to be? I would like to get out of these chaotic energies. Others of you may have a disposition where you like moving really fast and you like doing things quickly. What are your current rhythms? Here's another way you could ask yourself the question: what are your current rhythms? And what would you like your rhythms to be? So these are some excellent journaling prompts that go along with our theme today. Are you surfing the waves, or are you getting thrashed about by the rip currents of life, right? So maybe that is something you'd like to discuss and explore with yourself, or share in the comments. I would love to hear from you. We are going to do a collective oracle read. Again, the theme is movement. Again, it is mystical momentum, passing and colliding energies. We're going to look into it all. And when I was pulling out this beautiful deck called the Healing Waters Oracle here by Rebecca Campbell, I saw on the very bottom of the deck, making waves. Momentum is building. It's your time. Achievement. Let me show you the card here. Making waves. Momentum is building. It's your time. Achievement. And these are really beautiful, mystical, magical cards here. So I thought some of you might like to see that visual. The character is literally in the ocean. And it kind of reminded me of myself lately off of South Padre Island. There were times that I could really flow with the waves, and there were other times where the waves would just smack. And you could definitely feel the power of the undercurrent. And so I just have everybody reflect on, how are you making waves in your life? So let's go deeper. For the first part of our journey here, I do the collective oracle read, but I felt it was important to have some reflective questions there. We're going to pull multiple oracle cards here, and it feels like I'm going to start here with which one is this? This is called the Angel Dreams Oracle card deck. Now, the Angel Dreams Oracle card deck tends to kind of open up and reveal some of the subconscious, unconscious energies that we might go through. So, as always, I'm asking the universe for the highest and best message for the creators who are tuning in to this live, or even on the replay, because timestamps will be available on the replay for our amazing subscribers and viewers. Ooh, okay, we got school. Lessons are being learned. Lessons are being learned here with school. Now, sometimes, and I'll just give a personal example, and then I would invite you all, if you are really going through some lessons right now and you're willing to share, you don't have to share, all the details, but what could be the lessons that you're working on learning here? And for me, I've had a lot of lessons lately about how I communicate, how I come off. Recently traveling, anytime you travel and you travel with others, you tend to get a lot of mirrored reflections back to yourself. You tend to learn a lot, right? And sometimes what you see about yourself, you're like, I don't really love that, and there's something I need to correct there, or that's a lesson I needed to learn about what I need to improve upon. And so, even me as someone who's spiritually aware and I'm doing energy readings, I still have to work on my own energies. I still have to work on my own communications. And part of today, I think, what was going to happen in the live is I'm attracting the people who are really doing the healing work, because the lessons aren't always easy. Sometimes they're hard to come by. Ashley said sometimes like cha-cha, cha-cha-cha. Then she said, oops, sorry, I accidentally hit send. That's okay, Ashley. Should we cha-cha? Let's dance. Let's cha-cha. Danny J, hello and welcome to Creators on the Crest. We are in the midst of an oracle, a collective oracle read for movement and mystical momentum. I am going to go with this is the Woodland Wardens Oracle here. And so this is a deck of little animals and how they can inform us. Ashley said chaotic energy. Yes, yeah. And the ocean, you know, we are going to talk about waves later in the breakout reading, and the ocean really can teach us a lot about that. Danny, we're glad you're here. Okay, from our Woodland Wardens, what do we need to know? I'm seeing some chaos and tension mentioned. I'm so glad that you're being vulnerable and authentic with that, because I have too felt that. Like I said, in as within, as so without, there's a lot of astrology going on right now. So we got a very interesting card here. The crow and the dogwood. The dogwood is Missouri's state flowering tree. It's a tree, it's not a flower, but Missouri state tree. It has beautiful white blossoms, and this is juxtaposed against the darkness of the crow. Check out this card. And this card is representing an intelligence. Now, I'm going to go, because I am definitely feeling this. I'm going to go a little bit deeper than just mental intelligence here. We could see this like in the tarot, like the King of Swords, mental intelligence, sharpness, witty, quick-witted. And I'm not saying all of you aren't those things, because, you know, if you're a creator, you're attracted to this channel, you clicked on this live for a reason, okay? But the intelligence I'm getting here feels much more multidimensional. And I feel that in the intelligence, there is the emotional intelligence feeling. There's the mental intelligence, like the brain and the heart. But also there's this psychic intelligence that I'm feeling that some of you have, that is blossoming. You have it in you, you've always had it in you, but it's blossoming in a new way. Now, this doesn't mean you have to go out and do psychic readings or anything. What this might mean, though, is that you are informing yourself with a new level of intelligence. This could be gained from the experience and information that you've gained, which have translated into wisdom, and you've gone deeper within to yourself. Or this is your goal. You are wanting to go deeper. You are wanting to explore the inner mysteries for yourself. And yes, Danny Jace talked about the tension. We're feeling it. Ashley says, I do love to do the cha-cha. I have dance energy, intentional energy mixed with chaotic energy. Yes, and that's a very positive observation, because you are holistically looking at it. Sometimes when we look at the energy we truly have, we can either go all into what we would perceive as negative or all into what we would perceive as positive, right? And that would kind of serve as like maybe an avoidance or defense mechanism. But if you're really honest with yourself, you probably have these multiple and contrasting energies going on inside of you, and that is showing up in your experience. You're using the experience of your outside world to inform you what's going on the inside. And Danny J says, love this. Yes, OMG, I've been feeling this lately. Yes. So maybe a little crow medicine for some of you, or working with the dogwood tree in some way. I know there's those box flower and essences, BACH''S, again, not a paid promotion, just something I've used. Box has a lot of tree and flower essences that you can buy and work with. You know, they're very gentle, but you don't even have to do that. You can just, if you have access to a dogwood tree, or you have access to seeing and observing crows, that might be what you want to do out in nature. Let's get us a card from the Sea Soul Journey Oracle. So speaking of these energies all colliding, yeah, the box is like Sebastian Bach, BACH''S, box. They have a really popular too. If there's ever any time, of course, I'm not a medical doctor. You need to check and make sure this would be okay for you. But they have a rescue remedy, It comes in like a spray or a tincture, and that is for calming. So if you are getting really stressed, have a lot of anxiety, that can be a really natural way. And Box has good instructions for the recommended use. BACH apostrophe S, Box. They've been around a long time too, long time. All right. What does the ocean, the sea, want us to know? Ooh, maybe this goes back to that cha-cha that Ashley was talking about. She got us dancing. We got wild. May you express all that you are. And this is already the vibe that I'm feeling from those of you that are joining and participating. There is definitely this feeling that your greater being wants to take you new places. And it's just like very similar to my experience with the ocean when I was just in the Gulf in South Padre Island, where sometimes the water was really wild and we had to be very careful. It's easy to get out, you get on a sandbar, you think everything's wonderful, and then the ocean just all of a sudden, or you turn away from the waves for one moment to say something to somebody and whoosh, you get smacked, right? And so there's wild energy around us, but how are we expressing our wild nature? How are we letting go? Maybe the ocean can teach us some ways, because the ocean, she is pulled by the tides, pulled by the lunar, the lunar energies, the moon energies, that's what I'm trying to say. And that creates the tides. So how might we be working with those energies? And do we have a neglected part of us, the wild woman, the man beast, have you ever tried to embody a certain animal archetype? You can do this alone in your bedroom if you're embarrassed, or with a small trusted group of people in a safe healing circle, but embodying like the lion, since we're in Leo season, or embodying the crow, or just meditating with that energy and just connecting with your own instincts. Thank you, Kimberly, for putting the box of flower remedies in there. That's coming up for some reason, so might be something helpful to someone. They work very gently too. I will say it's not like a traditional medicine you would take and you've got the quick fix. It's a very gentle progression of working with the energy of those essences so that you can begin to learn from them in your own way. Oh, cool, Danny. Cool, Danny J. I hope it works out for you. You'll have to let us know. I hope that works out for you. Ashley says, makes me think of the book Women Who Run with the Wolves. Great book. It's a wild woman archetype book. It is. Women Who Run with Wolves. Clarissa Pinkola Estes, I think, is the author. Am I right on that? Kimberly, Ashley, Clarissa Pinkola Estes. Women Who Run with Wolves. And I could say I've been in women's circles, safe women's circles, where we kind of get into movement and dancing and embodiment, and we get kind of wild. There's a lot of energy you can process in those wilder moments. We're going now here with the Wild Mystic Oracle. I have them sitting here so I don't forget the names of them. Let's look at what the Wild Mystic Oracle, since we're wild right now. May you express all that you are, and this one definitely comes out. We got heal, and we got the frog, one of my favorite animals, like top 3 favorite creatures, the frog. And I'm definitely getting jump and leap here. So some of you may be, okay, so this is funny. I'm seeing someone jump like on a trampoline, like one of those little mini trampolines for exercise. I'm seeing that, like that kind of movement, getting on a trampoline and bouncing and getting like exercise out of that. For others of you, it's more like a metaphorical, it's time to leap, it's time to launch, it's time to take off, all right, with whatever it is you're trying to heal. So maybe some of you have been a bit avoidant of a certain part of your healing, or not even avoidant, but something's come up and you're like, yeah, I got to deal with that. I got to deal with that. I don't know if I'm ready to jump in and work on that quite yet. But if you can somehow find the balance or the marriage between your own wild inner nature and permission to heal, I think you will be able to align more with your authentic self and figure out the way in which you want to express here. Also remembering that frogs, they breathe like, they breathe through their skin, they sense through their skin, very sensitive creatures. So this could be also explaining that some of you are very sensitive, and wild might be sometimes a little bit triggering because you're also experiencing some of the more chaotic energies, right? But sometimes we have to sort through that inner chaos to facilitate our jump, our leap, our launch, all right? Our exercise, our program, our whatever we're trying to get into, right? That's what this energy feels like for you guys. So hopefully you're seeing where that applies in your life. Y'all, we're going to go into the Lover's Oracle, and I just knocked all my cards down because of the chaotic wildness I got going on over here. We're going to go to the Lover's Oracle here. These heart-shaped cards. I might even get a couple. So I would like to ask about our creators' relationships today. So in the movement of what's going on in the lives of our creators, what could be going on in relationships? What do we need to know about the momentum in relationships? And what do we need to know about the colliding, uniting, and passing energies? I'm going to get two cards here because it feels like this is important. This one here. Okay. Woo, we are being, see, here we have these wild energies. Here we have these energies. This is exactly what's going on in the astrology right now. We have these energies of, I got to take the leap, right? I got to jump into something. And then in comes Saturn in retrograde type of energies and says, wait, don't rush into it. Allow nature to take its course. And here's the image on the card. Wait, don't rush into a relationship. Don't rush into a conclusion about a relationship. Don't rush into judgments. And this could be any relationship, right? You might need a little reflective time. Also, for those of you who are interested in forming new relationships, this would really talk about setting a foundation for the relationship and allowing it to grow naturally, right? Sometimes we get in the way of that with our expectations, and it may be important to wait and slow things down. So some of you may be feeling this. I want to take the leap. I want to start dating again, but then the universe is like, wait, be patient, Don't work so hard at that. Like, just let it flow, let it happen naturally. And look at all the trees, the tree images we got here for our relationships. Trees are slower moving energy. And this one says, time, you're trying too hard. Give it time. And look at all the imagery going on in this card. We've got like an all-seeing eye, the Egyptian eye there. We've got the heart, different places, the growth of the heart. We have at the top here what looks almost like a pinnacle from the tarot, which would represent the earthly energies and really grounded forces of giving things time. And I would say that is exactly what some of you may be up against in these colliding energies. You feel the momentum, you feel the fire of the Leo season, you're like ready to go, let's launch, let's lead, let's go. And then there's the part that comes in and says, wait, let's not rush, right? And this could especially be playing itself out in relationships, since that was the Lover's Oracle. But it could also relate to doing what you love, like what's next for you with doing what you love. This is normally the deck I start with, but the Sacred Geometry of Activations is going to close off our Oracle reading today, and then we're going to get into some really great breakout readings. Is here Blaze? That means Mimi's here. He loves to let us know when someone's here. All right, so this deck is a little sticky. Let me clear it here. A little sticky today. Sacred Geometry of Activations. In what way are we being activated, or in what way should we remember how important it is to allow the activations? What's the theme for us with this? Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh. I'm sweating. My glasses keep sliding down. They need to be tightened, y'all, so I'm sorry about that. We got the crown chakra, number 7. So I've talked on my channel how I kind of approach chakra energies, but what we're talking about is this mental mind space energy, the frequency of the crown chakra, which is connected to the color violet, and the violet flower of life supports the spiritual connection to the universe and our ability to transmute negative energy into light. So there you are. Some of you might be dealing with this kind of energy. I equate it to mental energy. Could represent a tendency to overthink things. Could represent an imbalance between the crown and the heart, right? That higher mind. But also, since I did get for some of us that we are stepping into more deeply into psychic intelligence. Even though this isn't third eye energy, I am getting the sense that some of you may be receiving activations from the higher realms that, believe it or not, subconsciously and unconsciously you're navigating, or you have been navigating. These may be coming more conscious for you, okay? So if things seem like a little out there, if things seem a little wild, if you're getting some sort of activation that's really having you question things, allow that. Give it time, work with it, journal with these energies, because something is trying to come through and inform us at a very intellectual level as well. All right, so we've got crow energy, we've got wild energy, frog energy, tree energy here. We're learning lessons, we're making waves, we have movement, but we also have pausing, right, going on. We have these energies. So let's get a sip of tea. We're going to transition into our breakout readings today at 37:37. For those of you who are into numbers, that will be our timestamp. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I took a trip to South Padre Island to hang out with my dear friends. Jason went with me. We had a great time, but we also faced a lot of challenges. Okay, so one of the friends I was meeting in person for the first time. Jason and I haven't had a lot of time to travel together and really be together for a long time in the car. Driving makes me absolutely batshit crazy. I can't stand being on the roads with other people. It's just, and we went through 3 different states and saw 3 different driving styles, all kinds of stuff, right? So there was a lot packed into 5, 6, ended up being like pretty much a almost 7-day journey for us, because we stopped at a few places. But at the same time, we got to see some amazing things, and it was really meant to be. So I took the inspiration from South Padre Island, and I figured out that I wanted to do the breakout readings today with the elements, right? So we're going to do earth, water, air. We're going to end with fire. We're going to end with big Leo energy at the end. But we are going to do our first breakout reading on the baby turtles, specifically the Kemp's Ridley turtles, because we had the opportunity, my friend Nicole, and also one of my moderators, she's not here right now, but she woke us up at like 6 in the morning and said, I've checked the Facebook group. They're going to do a release today. There's like 300 baby turtles And we got to go and watch that experience, which is very rare. You never know if you're going to catch it. We knew we were in the season of when these nests would hatch, but we didn't know exactly when. And it happened on our very last day there, and we got the experience, our very last full day, and we got the experience to see it. So the baby turtles, the energy I connected to the element of earth, because even though they're going to the sea, they have a very grounded and instinctual energy and a lot of courage, right? The volunteers, they rescue the nest basically because these are endangered, and they rescue the nest, and when the babies are born, they bring the babies immediately to the ocean and place them at a certain distance so that the baby turtles actually do the work that they would do naturally if they were coming from the nest to the water. And they just have a little extra help from the people because we make noise and keep the seagulls away and everything. And that's a lot. I thought about, wow, it was a very emotional moment for me. There were tears in my eyes the whole time. I was watching these little turtles, and some were fast. Some were like, yeah, get me to the ocean. And others were like confused and turned around and slower. And, I did not see this, but a seagull did manage to get one of them. I mean, there were 300, okay? And we were like clapping and like shooing away the seagulls. But also we were like just in the moment, just so in the moment of like watching this journey. And I thought, what is it? Wow, why am I so emotionally connected to this? Of course, they're little baby turtles and they're super cute, and I have the Cancerian energy and I'm maternal, but it was also about the journey that they were taking and how they had to use a sense of groundedness coming from the volunteer facility to the beach, putting their little feet on the sand for the first time and using their instincts to get to the water. It was really cool to see. If any of you ever get the opportunity to watch baby turtles get released to the ocean, or sometimes in this case, because the Kemp's Ridley turtles are endangered, I think the organization steps in and helps. But there's other times, I know there's places in Florida where they just block off an area of the beach where the nests are, and they keep the lights really low because the turtles use like only the moonlight and things like that to guide them. So this happened like really early in the morning when the sun was rising. So the sun was coming up over the waters and the baby turtles were going in. It was just really beautiful. If you ever get that opportunity and you want to manifest that or add it to your bucket list, I highly recommend it. And just trust that the universe will bring it to you if it's meant to be. That's going to be our first breakout reading. We're going to go into the element of earth with the baby turtles. Number 2, we're going to go into the element of water with the ocean waves. And I mentioned that before in the oracle reading. This is going to be the emotional high and low tides of the ocean waves. We might get a little bit more feeling energy into there. Kimberly says, awesome, so good. Oh yeah, when I talked about jumping on the rebounder for the length, captain of a starship, the Starship Enterprise. Yeah, the actual creator of existence itself loves humans, but can't really mention his name around humans as they get uncomfortable or hostile hearing Jesus. Weird, I know. Well, I don't get hostile, and I'm a human, so, but yes, are you James Tiberius Kirk? All right. So we're going to get into water in our second breakout reading, emotional high and low tides. And sometimes the emotions are flowing and they're just moving with such beauty and a pristine nature, but other times they're powerful and they will drag you down and they can pull you under. And so how our emotions go with that may come into play in that second breakout reading when we talk about the waves. And then number 3, we're going to get into the Pelicans, because this is something I don't see where I live inland. Pelicans were amazing. They had certain patterns, and we, I think, finally caught them flying by. They would fly low. You would see them out in the ocean diving for fish. This is going to be a reading all about air because they are creatures that are in flight. And we're going to talk about perspective and patterns, right? So here we are, we're navigating all this energy. Some of it's smooth, some of it's chaotic. We're going to get into that. So our third reading will be the air element with the Pelicans. And then lastly, since we're ending on a high note with fire today, we're going to get into the sun. Okay, so the sun was a big part of my journey on this recent trip. The solar rhythm and soul spark of the sun's arc across the sky. And what is that like for us? How do we work with that solar energy? How do you feel connected to our central star? How do you feel that you have to hide away from it sometimes and even protect yourself? Fire can be a really intense element to work with. And so we're going to talk about our solar rhythms, our soul spark, and how that might be working with us elementally. So I think we're going to get into our first reading at, here goes the numbers, 4545. We're going to get into a reading that was inspired with the earth element by the Kemp's Ridley baby turtles in South Padre Island, and it was so amazing to see them. Now, I have a little bit different deck today. We're going to use the Steampunk Tarot today for our messages. We, as always, are asking for the highest and best messages for our creator crew out there. And specifically, we're looking into the earth element as it relates to maybe some turtle energy, which is patient, slow, instinctual, grounded. All right. And we want the highest and best messages, whether they're lessons or positive reinforcements for us. Oh my. Okay. Okay. Those of you who have chosen this breakout reading, whether you're just listening live or on the replay, you are here, you're listening. I will say with this earth energy, I do see you working on grounding in and nurturing the energies of your greater being. And when I say greater being, sometimes people use the terminology higher self. I don't like that hierarchy feeling as much. So when I say greater being, I'm talking about that greater part of yourself. You, past, present, future, all dimensions, every level, connecting with the complexity of your beingness that goes far beyond just this one incarnation. Okay, so that is what I'm referring to when I talk about your greater being. I see you nurturing something very lovingly here within yourself. So especially related for some of you to courage and to authority. And it could be putting that authority behind your actions, behind your voice. And I'm talking about your personal authority, not authority of trying to have control over others, but your own personal authority. So let's look at these cards here. We got the Seven of Pentacles. This is that nurturing energy I'm talking about. You're grounded in this. You're aware of this. It may not be where your final goal or perspective is, but you have a lot of attention on something here. Maybe it does have to do with your courage to grow into something. You can see in this card, he is observing this beautiful lattice where plants and vines are growing up, and he has a journal and a pen, a book and a pen, and he's taking notes. How are you, and tell me in the comments, how are you at observing and maybe even journaling or leaving yourself voice notes or writing yourself little post-it reminders? How good are you with that? Or would you like to be better at that? The seven is movement, it is momentum. So I think some of you are moving into maybe establishing some daily practices with this. Could be a gratitude journal or something like that. It could just be you making time for yourself to really observe where you've been, where you've come from, and how you've grown. I know that I am guilty of not looking at the celebrations. that I have in life. And just recently, just yesterday, on the new moon, of all things, the Leo new moon, I received a letter in the mail. And it was addressed to me. And underneath it said Wonder Woman. And this letter was written by me, December 2024, me, when I was at an entrepreneurial business conference. And they took all our letters and they mailed them to us, and I got mine on the new moon. And it was essentially a letter to myself to remind me of what I had accomplished, how much I had already done. It was actually saying, look at what you've done and let yourself know. Let yourself know what you've done. How many of you are good at that? Put it in the comments. Hit some emojis for me. Let's get a little momentum going here. Get some more people attracted here. You can tell I'm still working on this energy. And I think some of you are too. It's tending to yourself. It's nurturing yourself. It's tending to yourself. It's observing yourself. Both celebrations and lessons, okay? But I think what we fail to do sometimes is we fail to really observe the lessons. Woo, sorry. We failed to learn the celebrations because my brain got that mixed up. We oftentimes are looking at how we failed, or we're not where we want to be. We thought we'd be monetized on YouTube already. We thought we'd be having our membership program out. We thought we'd be in a relationship of our dreams right now. We thought we'd be getting a raise at work. Whatever it is for you, you may not be focusing enough on how far you've grown and how far you've come. And also for some of you, since I am getting a little bit in the throat, I feel like some of you may not be communicating your value and your worth as much as you need to. Let me know in the comments if this has happened to you. Kimberly says, yes, absolutely. Learn to tend to myself after pouring into everyone else but me for decades. Yeah, a lot of empathic, sensitive people, or people who have certain blueprints, tend to do that. And then it builds up a lot of resentment. It builds up a lot of these things. And I'm getting it, Kimberly. I feel that. I feel that very strongly. Some of you may struggle to pull the focus back to yourself, but that's what this card is all about. It's pulling the focus back to yourself. And even though, Kimberly, like, for example, you're learning this, right? But it doesn't come overnight. You have to change behaviors around it. So you're observing yourself, and you're seeing, and this happened to me recently in my relationship with Jason. I was seeing where I was like, oh my gosh, I just said something and it came out like it was on autopilot. And he drew my attention to it, and I was like, wow, that came off a certain way. And I just heard myself say that, but it was like I didn't stop myself. So I have to say, uh-oh, I got something to look at there. But I can also have grace for myself and say, I'm human, and it's okay to make mistakes, and I am worthy of forgiveness, and I will work on this. And that's what we are doing. We got the Hierophant here. Many of you are moving into a greater level of wisdom. I think some of you are, here's the thing, like, pouring your wisdom into others who do not want to hear it can be a struggle. It can be a battle. It can be something that ends up making you feel defeated and resentful. But for those with the eyes to see and the ears to hear, the Hierophant comes up. This is you sharing your authenticity. This is you speaking truly. This is you maybe storytelling. I feel like some of you are storytellers, or would be very good at that, would be very good at telling a story. I know that's something that I am challenging myself even here on YouTube to start to put together stories, because people like listening to stories. Shireen is here. Hello, Shireen. You try to remember to celebrate the good. Yes, it's sometimes like maybe even we need to set reminders on our phone. At the end of the day, what can I celebrate? Before I go to bed, let me look at one thing I accomplished today, or one thing that's going on in my life that I can celebrate. But yes, more often than not, we're very critical of ourselves, right? And maybe that's what this Hierophant is teaching these children, to give themselves grace, to allow their creativity, right? To not be so rigid with themselves, to not be so hard on themselves, to understand that, yes, we will learn the lessons, right? It really takes me back to the school card that we had in the original Oracle reading, where, yeah, there's some challenging lessons, but one of those is, let's think about what's gone well, right? Because then we can amplify that energy and we can open our hearts to that. And that is something that fills our cup. When we're able to see our accomplishments, like the letter I wrote to myself, my December self. In fact, let's do a challenge to those of you listening. And you know, like I could talk to Kimberly. Kimberly and I could right now write letters to ourselves, our July selves, July Stephanie, July Kimberly. Let's just use that as an example. We could write the letters, seal them, you know, put the address on, put a stamp on, whatever, and then exchange them. And then in December, Kimberly and I could mail each other's cards to each other. So you could work with like a trusted friend or something with this, right? Get it to someone you trust, set a reminder, it's time to mail, and then mail them to each other. But it's your own writing, it's your own love note to yourself, it's your own note to say, look where you're at, here's where you're at. And if you need to vent some frustration, certainly vent that, but also try to focus on all the accomplishments, looking at where your cup is overflowing and opening your heart into those energies. That might be a nice exercise to do. So take some time, maybe think of someone that you could do that with. Yeah, I knew Kimberly would be down with that. Yes, we could do that. So, you know, get yourself a card. Maybe the card that you get yourself that you write in is a thank you card to yourself. Thank you, me, for doing these things for myself. Thank you. Look, I'm very proud of you, right? It was amazing to look back at my letter from December and even see like from December where I'm at now, because I was writing down some of the things that were going on. And I was like, wow. And even from there, 6 months later, almost 7 months later, I've grown so much. Let's get a message from the Cosmic Energy Oracle cards here. Anything else we need to know about the energy of the Ace of Cups, the Hierophant, and the Seven of Pentacles? Ah, yes. Coming up strong, the energy of grace. Grace is the universe's blessing. Open your heart to receive it. Grace is the gift you give yourself. Open your heart to receive it. Allow grace into this ever-flowing Ace of Cups here, because this is what's going to help you serve and share your learnings, your wisdom with others. But unless you tend to your own garden and your own growth, you won't be able to do that. So giving yourself the grace, the patience, the time, you know, turning yourself to the sun here. I love this, turning your face to the sun, bringing in a little bit of that Leo energy, letting the warmth surround you and fill you, and in a good way, not to where you're sweating your butt off or anything. Okay. I always like to get, it seems like lately especially, a masculine and feminine card to close off these readings. So again, we're dealing with the element of earth, inspired by the Kemp's Ridley sea turtles. And they are letting us know to really make observations of our celebrations, of our growth, how far we've come. And maybe if you're feeling it, could you maybe share something in the comments that you're proud of? Like, what is something, as you look back over, let's say the last 6 months, what's something you're really proud of? What is something you can actually celebrate, no matter how small it may seem, or if it's something big and you're willing to share? Please share with us what you accomplished and what you feel while I pull these cards. All right. Let's look at the feminine cards. Woo, little sticky, but coming out anyway. Okay, with the masculine feminine cards, while you're thinking about your celebration, and you might want to share that in the comments, These decks, actually, the Journey to the Divine Masculine and the Journey to Divine Feminine are just that. These decks by Divine Moon Empress. She has a second version out now that I don't yet have, but I'm going to get. Divine Moon Empress on Etsy. Journey to the Divine. They are designed in order to look at the whole journey. So some of the cards are going to feel a little challenging at times, and the challenges as well as the celebrations are being called out. The masculine energy is coming in with a sense of cloudiness or cloudedness, unable to think clearly, to make decisions, or maybe even having poor concentration, focus, that kind of thing. Now, that might be a little bit of a challenge with the Leo energies that are upon us right now, the fire energies that want to move us forward. We've got something in Aries going on too. I can't remember right now because it's all in there. It's all clouded in there somewhere. But it's that momentum of movement forward. But even in our clouded times, even when we may not be moving quite yet, we may not be able to make the decision, there's still momentum. There's still energies in these water particles in these clouds. There's still things happening within there. So keep that in mind. While right now you might be clouded, unable to make a decision, or you might have a hard time focusing, give yourself the grace that you deserve. Try to focus and bring into your heart some of those celebrations, and that will help what the feminine wants us to know, which is balance. Feeling harmonious within due to both the feminine and masculine energies being balanced. So here she comes in her strength from behind the scenes, and using her flexibility, she's going to help bring the masculine energies into focus, okay? And I know I'm all over the place. There we go. She's going to help through her balancing energies to come in and say, okay, you might be a little clouded right now, but let's accept that. Let's flex, okay? So some of you are flexing here. Let's have a flex. And let's really bring these energies into balance. This is Libra energy. Some of you might want to lean into your Libra energies, and that is where we really want to be, right? So the law of gender and alchemy speaks to the masculine and the feminine. There's masculine and feminine. This is one of the dynamics in the universal energies, right? Energetically speaking, what we're looking for is that unique balance of those energies, the active and the receptive within ourselves, coming into that place. And it's from that place that we can attract what we need, right? It's from that balanced masculine and feminine energies there. Shireen says, transition to your own place after a divorce and got a much better paying job to help support your son and you. Congratulations, Shireen. That's amazing. I love it. I love it because I know the path is not easy, but you've done it. And now you're there, and now you have a better paying job, and look at all the things that have stemmed even from that have blossomed from that. That is exactly the kind of thing we want to be looking at and we want to be responding with. So if anyone else would like to share, if you're thinking about it, continue to drop a comment when you're ready. We are going to transition now at 6320 into the water energies here. So this is where I'm talking about the waves, okay? The waves. They can be calm and soft. They can be jolty and chaotic, and they can send you like on a wild chase around the sandbar, right? So surrender is coming up as I shuffle the cards. We've got surrender coming up. There's emotional surrender and emotional energies. I feel like there's certain emotions that some of you might be struggling to surrender into. You're kind of fighting the forces. Something wants to inform you. Something's bubbling up from that subconscious realm. Some of you have had some interesting dreams lately, characters, scenes, symbols coming into your dreams that are really important to make note of. Why would that come in? Whoa, just had a moment there. All right, yep. Here's the thing. Woo, woo. I get to see the cards first, so I have these reactions. You go like, what is it? What card is it? Tell me. Oh, I'm gonna tell you. Emotional energies are the trick right now here, okay? Because we've got several things. We've got our magic online, and we've got that beautiful feeling inspired flow of those emotional energies, feeling inspired, feeling good, feeling like we're ready, feeling like let's do it, let's work our magic, let's tinker, let's have a little fun with it. And then we have the energies of the devil card, which is, but I have to have control. And if I don't have control, I'm not safe, and I don't feel safe. And I'm not safe in this situation. I'm not safe in that situation. I'm not safe with myself, right? And that is, these two forces are coming together emotionally for us now. And they're having a conversation, because right in the middle, we have the Six of Pentacles. So here's how the emotional energies are colliding for us. They are exchanging in an attempt to balance you out. So I'm going to kind of go with the feminine energies that I got on the previous Earth reading. And I'm going to pull those feminine energies here, the Libra energies. We have the scales here. We're attempting to balance something out. For some of you, this taps into ancestral and generational curses and healing through those, okay? There's emotional battles going on inside. You feel the beautiful momentum energies of the magic that you have with the magician, that you're ready. Your heart is ready. Your mind is sharp. The fire is lit. You are grounded. And you're ready to balance those elements. You want that, and you're like, yes, I can do this. I'm aware of my magic. It's online. And then it's like, uh-oh, distraction. I'm triggered. I have to defend myself about something. I have to work on some pattern that I thought was healed here. Capricorn energy, it's going to want to work on it. It's going to want to definitely, this is an energy that you definitely have to pay attention to, because it's big. It's coming up and it's saying, yeah, you want all this? Well, first, let's do this. And these are having an exchange emotionally within you. There may be days where you feel really rattled, where you're quick to anger or you're quick to tears. There's other days where you're cool as a freaking cucumber and you're just like, let's go. I got it. I have all the tools I need. I got this. I can do this. And these are all true at the same time. So Six of Pentacles. This is about a reminder. Let's bring it into balance. Let's take these emotional energies, acknowledge them, but can we find a way to ground them in to where they might be able to work together? Because the devil card energy, though it can be sneaky and it can be peppered with false things, like false, maybe some of the energies in there are false belief systems or programming that you've picked up, because I did get that ancestral generational feel in there, and it feels so big. It feels like it's affected your entire bloodline, for example. And at the same time, here you are in your strength and in your truth and in your magic and saying, I am ready to tackle this, right? So these energies would not be coming up unless you were in fact ready to tackle them and bring them into balance. And this is happening on a very emotional level. So we have the calm waves, cool as a cucumber, everything's flowing in and out, the breath. And then we have these waves that just come crashing down, like let me take the air out of your balloon, let me rain on your parade kind of energy. But in that, there is lessons. And I'd also like to mention that the characters here both have tools. They do have tools, a wrench, and it looks like a shovel here. And so maybe it's about using some of the tools to kind of get that over emotional energy into balance here. Acknowledge it, feel it, process it, go through it. Don't ignore it, don't stuff it down, because it'll only get bigger if you do. Kimberly and Ashley said, Ashley says, I'm feeling this so deeply. This is the chaos I was referring to earlier. Yeah, it's in the feelings, right? It's in your feelings. Kimberly says, me too. And Kimberly, I think you're part of my tribe. Oh, yes, yes, Creator's Tribe is here. I love it. So let's see what the Cosmic Energy Oracle cards would like to inform us about these energies, because remember when I was first kind of tuning in, I kind of felt like surrender into these different energies, all collapsing into your emotional body at the same time, because you do have the tools, you do have the ability to balance this out. And what else would the cosmos like our creators to know about this energy here? Hello, if you've just joined, welcome to Creators on the Crest. Please put a thumbs up on the video if you've been here for a minute and enjoying it. We are on our second breakout reading, and we would love to have the new people who have joined drop us a comment and say hello. And you are just in time to hear the message of discovery. Discover the treasures within and follow your passion. Absolutely. The pentacles can represent a treasure. Once in balance, you will be able to utilize that treasure. This is also, I'm just going to mention this since the Captain Kirk came in earlier, whatever, but this is giving me a very Vulcan feeling here. This is like, I don't know if this could represent the planet Vulcan, like if you're a Trekkie or a Trekker or whatever the proper nomenclature is. But there is something very fiery, very volcanic about this card, and what I'm seeing, it's very warm, it's very hot, like, and that may be how you're burning, or fire may be the element, and we're gonna get to fire, right, when we talk about the sun, the solar energies in one of the other breakout readings here in a little bit. But discovery, allowing yourself to discover something new about yourself through the clashing of these emotional energies. There are treasures within. The Six of Pentacles shows us that. We'll bring them into balance so we can see them, and then we'll be able to utilize those beautiful energies. Now remember, when I think about Vulcan and you think about Spock, you think of someone who is overly intellectual and is not devoid of emotion completely, but does never show emotion, never shows emotion, but it's about coming into that heart space. And so it is important for everyone to have someone or a space to go to where you can process these emotions. For some of us, it is more of a private thing, and that's okay as well. Just make sure, I am getting the sense of, make sure you do try to establish or build that shoulder to lean on if you do need somebody. I, for one, am guilty of being very bad at that sometimes. Sometimes I just have to deal with the energies myself first, and then I can lead into somebody else. So however it works for you, but some of you may be trying to establish relationships, friendships, coaching dynamics that are more supportive for you in these new energies that you're discovering about yourself. Some of you may have a changeover of like if you're going to a therapist, you may find someone, they may all of a sudden move to another state, and you may find someone else, and that ends up being a better match for you and where you're going. Could be like that. Could be like that with a job. Could be like that with a relationship. So we're going to see what the divine masculine energies have to say here. I just saw 7333 on the timestamp as I threw out a bunch of cards, but one landed here on my armrest, and this is the one I'm going to pick. And let's get a feminine card here too. How's everyone feeling? How are the emotions treating you right now? What might be rising up, or what kind of emotions are you working on? Is it anger, jealousy, fears of some kind. Oof. Yeah, shame. How about shame? I'm going to start with the feminine this time. She is giving us shame. Feeling painful humiliation or distress caused by the consciousness of wrong or foolish behavior. Are some of you feeling like because of maybe mistakes you've made in the past? My nose is really itching here, so something's going on here. Are you feeling like because of mistakes or missteps, or even what I'm getting for some of you is time spent in maybe a toxic situation, work situation, or relationship, that you're carrying shame around? I should have known, I should have gotten out of it sooner, I should have done a better job. No, because you don't know some of those things until the hindsight, right? Hindsight is 2020. So there's a bit of hiding away here. And I feel like some of the emotions that are arising, some of the emotions are coming up with this devil card of like, you're not worthy, you're fallible, you make too many mistakes. This can be a really tricky energy. It can also be really subtle. So consciously you could be saying to yourself, no, I'm not really ashamed of anything, and I've healed this, that, and the other. But is there something there? Is there something there that's preventing you from stepping into your own emotional ownership and authority? There could be. The masculine energy is actually saying vulnerable, feeling fear and doing it anyway, opening up and sharing your weaknesses. There you go. That's why it was coming up, to have that safe space to really land with at least one other person with your emotions. Even if it's like journaling and then having a close friend or someone listen to you share your journal entry, to be witnessed, to be seen, even in your pain, even in your emotional energy. And if you go to my Frequencies Friday 2 weeks ago, I got really emotional, and it was probably one of the more vulnerable Frequency Fridays, but I was feeling it and it felt like it needed to come out at the time. And of course, in order to do that, I couldn't feel ashamed. And I might have even in the video struggled to apologize, but there's nothing to apologize for. When you're processing emotions, there's a lot of people default into, oh, I'm sorry, right? I'm sorry. But there's nothing to be sorry for when you're processing and when you're deep in your emotions. That is natural. That is how you're going to find the balance here with this Six of Pentacles. That is how you're going to reinforce your magic and being ready, and maybe even being ready but also scared and doing it anyway. Have you asked for that raise? Have you stated your value? Have you set the boundary with someone you love, a family member, a partner? Have you done these things? And if those are the things you need to do, or your own definition of whatever it is, are you willing to look at this and feel through these energies and face the waves as they crash, and sometimes attempt to at least make you feel like you're being taken down, right? Because the emotions can be really deep and they can be really powerful. And there can be moments where you're like, I'm never going to stop feeling this way. But you will. You absolutely will. And so at 7807, let's go into the air energies here a little bit with our third breakout reading. And this is where we are considering the pelicans, right? The perspective of pelicans, and, you know, could be other birds in your area, like the patterns of the geese flying south, or the birds, different tracks that they take. Again, it's very instinctual. So we're kind of going back to like the earth energies, the turtle, where earth and air meet. But it also, being a flying bird, it gives a different perspective there. And so, yeah, I'm getting a connection between air and earth, air and water. Taking a big bite out of life. Some of you are, you know, on the verge of just taking a bite out of life, it feels like. So let's see in the energies what we're meant to know, the highest and best messages to assist us with our perspectives and with our patterns that we have. Okay, all right, we got a lot of movement, tying it back to the movement here. This air energy, so particularly if you're Gemini, Libra, what's the other one? Aquarius. The air energies, if you have these in your placements, you know, I read for Sun, Moon, Rising, and North Node that those 4 pillars, but it may come to your mind that you have an air sign in another placement. Roll with it. Trust your intuition there. There's a lot of movement here. I'm just going to say there's a lot of movement here. All right. And it's looking pretty darn good. I think with some of the emotional energies that we just read about with the waves and the chaotic energies, it could have us feeling a little bit like a novice at things like, how am I going to do this? Do I have this in me? Am I authority on this topic? How do I really honor my own heart and speak my truth from that place? That's what the Page of Cups is informing us here. And it's interesting because in the background, this is the steampunk tarot. We have some sort of flying machine. You know, they experimented with a lot of different flying machines back in the day. And it kind of looks like, I don't know what's going on with that. Like, it's kind of like, oh, what's going to happen? Am I going to be able to land this? Am I going to be able to take what's in my heart and land it? And in her hand, she has a little glass of wine. And I'm going to say I'm getting port. I'm not a drinker, but port, my understanding, is a after dinner little drink, red wine drink that people sip on after dinner. And I think this is, honestly, I think this is connected to some of you with patterns to do with what you eat, okay? And I'm not saying go drink port unless you're a wine connoisseur and you like that kind of thing. But there is something about the way that you're feeling and what you've eaten that affects your thoughts. So let me know in the comments. Have you all been thinking about that? Have you all been thinking about how different things that you put in your body affect your mind and affect your patterns? Like, what are the patterns there? How do they affect your perspective? Is it a meal you eat and you feel energized? Or is it a meal you eat and you feel tired and like you need to go take a nap? What's going on in the body? There's some sort of attention being drawn to that there. So very, very interesting. I'll show the card once more. How is the food that you're eating, the drinks you're drinking, how is it landing in you? How does it make you feel? Are you distinguishing between what's healthy for you and what's not? Are you able to feel into where you might have deficiencies and then take the needful steps with a professional to figure that out? I feel like, there we go. I feel like some of you are unwinding in that energy, into that energy and trying to figure it out. Now, the beautiful momentum, because that's kind of like, okay, you know, I'm not 100% sure here kind of energy because maybe I don't feel 100% confident, but these next 2 cards tell me that you do have this confidence within you. We got, again, an air sign card, Aquarius, the star. Look at this gorgeous picture here as she sits in like this amazing depiction of a star, like a star shining a beautiful beacon pattern, and she's like sitting in it, a very celestial card here, right? This is all about your connection to your goals. So if you've been someone who's like, I'm not sure I can do this, I'm not sure I can land this, I feel new at this, or I'm feeling a certain way about it, like, can I do it? Like lack of something, it's within you with this star. Some of you may need to connect more with what this goal is, with how you feel, especially with how you feel when you imagine yourself seated in the power dynamic of that goal. What does it feel like? How do you feel embodied and empowered in that energy? How is it going to shine to others? So this may be some more journaling prompts or meditation prompts for you. How will you allow yourself to shine for others, even if you're not feeling 100% ready? What are you willing to do, kind of going off the last reading we have, to tackle the fear and do it anyway? Things are going to move. Things are going to move. We have the Cancerian energy here of the Chariot. Now, Cancers like to move side to side, right? We did see the little ghost crabs. I didn't do a breakout on them, but their movement, I might just do a separate reading on them altogether. You would see, as you were enjoying the waves during the day, you would see the little holes, and they would like, sometimes like little bubbles would come out, and they would kick things out of the little holes, and they come out at night and they scurry, and they're clear, and they go side to side, and they'll come close, and they have a curiosity about them, but then if you get too close, they'll scurry away. They seemed very energetically sensitive to me, much like Cancerian energy, and any kind of sea creature that has like the hard shell with the soft interior, because not all cultures actually attributed Cancerian energy to the crab. In the tarot, in fact, in the moon card, it's the lobster, right? And so I'm getting that. Also, for those of you who are into unicorns, unicorn energy is coming up here. Maybe really getting focused, getting to the point of where you're going to be moving, what direction you're going. In this particular reading, it feels like, with the perspective, as we think about pelicans and they dive down to get their food and everything like that, I think what the pelicans and then the crabs that I mentioned are trying to teach us is maybe to move a little bit differently than our default. Maybe we're choosing foods and things for our body that are a little bit different from our default. We're changing patterns here. We've got to change our perspective. We've got to deepen our knowing with ourselves in this. Yeah. And you know what? You don't have to do it all at once unless you're ready and you want to. You can do a baby step at a time. My throat is really acting up here. I'm getting a lot in the throat area here. So as you're thinking about, okay, like, what do I put in my body? What am I resisting? What gives me brain fog? What makes me feel good? How can I reflect after I've eaten? That seems important, because these other two bigger energies are coming in, ready or not, like ready or not. I feel like some of you feel like you're not ready. You feel like a novice. You feel like, who am I? I'm not ready. That's also some of the astrology right now, is there's so much fire pushing us into things like go, 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 go. And there's other energies like that Saturn retrograde pulling you back and saying, well, but you need to work on this, or have you done this? And so there's a realistic energy tug of war going on there, but there's also the fears and patterns and behaviors that we need to work out within ourselves. Let's see what the Cosmic Energy Oracle has to say about this energy. Definitely look to your chart, looking to that Gemini, Aquarius, Libra energies. Libra feels the most balanced to me. I'm just going to say right now, as I feel into those three energies, it kind of goes the most balanced Libra, then Aquarius, then Gemini. Gemini seems pretty sparky to me right now. So if you do have some placements in Gemini, you might be like, now you are kind of used to it because you have those Gemini energies, but it might be a little like things might be kind of popping off for you. Oh, this one fell out the side here. We got light. Light dispels darkness. Keep your inner light shining, much like the Hermit card here. Oh, I love this for this. Keep your inner light shining like the star. Stay connected to your beautiful goals here. Even on a cloudy day, you can still have momentum. You can still move. You just might have to move a different way. Sometimes this kind of gives me the energy of like plans getting rained out. because of like a weather, storm or something, front comes in, you were supposed to be outside, or even just trying to mow the lawn and you can't because it rains for like 4 days on end and you don't see the sun. Light dispels the darkness, but in particular, your own inner light. That's what the universe is saying here. Your own inner light will light things up, even on a cloudy day, or even with the cloudedness. And cloudedness has come up a couple times today that might have you feeling a bit like, who am I? Can I really do this? Thank you for the hearts and the love. Let me know how you're feeling, if you have any particular ties or resonance with some of this energy. This one feels a bit more, of all the readings I've done so far, this one feels a bit, what do I want to say, kind of removed, like we're aware of the energies to do with this air element here, but we're not like fully in the wind tunnel yet, but it's coming. It's like coming for us. So we're going to step into it, right? With the star and the chariot there. And it's big energy. So remembering that inner light. Let's get a journey to the divine feminine here and see what masculine and feminine had to say. I already drew the masculine. Now the masculine comes in, and this is air sign energy with knowledge, trying to better understand the connection with a counterpart, or possibly even a work dynamic or relationship, possibly codependent tendencies, by doing what? By maybe reading books, searching the internet, ChatGPTing things, or watching tarot readings. Hello. Watching tarot readings, gaining knowledge. Everyone, there's a lot of misunderstandings about certain types of knowledge, but knowledge goes with experience to create wisdom. So the more you open yourself up to the vast library of information of life, beyond what maybe social norms and structures really want you to think, the more you get creative with the questions that you ask, the more you're going to open up into a greater understanding of things. And that's what the masculine is showing us here. And in particular, I feel it does say a better connection with counterpart, but I also think it could be the energies within you. It could be the masculine energies within you, getting more comfortable, getting to know those better, or doing a review of them. If because everybody kind of has a tendency to feel more comfortable with one or the other, right brain, left brain, right? And we're all over different scale with that. But this is more of the left brain energies trying to get an understanding. I think this is a really good message for anyone who might be dealing with relationship dynamics, whether it be romantic or otherwise. Maybe finding out how to gain more knowledge with how to communicate even here, since we are in the element of air. The feminine says lesson. You're learning valuable soul lessons needed to make yourself whole again. And look, she's sitting in front of her computer, all researching. So I am getting the air energy is coming in and saying it is important for you to gather information. Maybe you need to read a book. I know I was feeling like I was in some more codependent or also imbalanced kind of energies lately within myself. And I thought of a book that's down on the bookshelf, and it's probably time to go get that book, because the knowledge and the lessons are being presented here. And I think with that, maybe that will give this Page of Cups a little bit more confidence, so he or she can move into this beautiful momentum of the star and the chariot here and shine the inner light. So I'm loving that. We've got to hold space for that. I think sometimes when we get into the metaphysical dynamics and we get into spiritual energies, we forget about learning, like book learning, like reading and researching and things like that. And we kind of get pulled back from that. But it's just important of a piece as the feeling and as the intuition and all of that. And that's what brings balance. Let me know if you're still here. I'm seeing a little drop off in the comments. So if everyone just wants to say hi, see how these readings might have related for you, if you want to comment about any of that. Or maybe I'm going to go ahead and ask if anybody has an idea about what you'd like to see for Frequency Friday. I'd love to do some new polls for the creators community where people could vote on, let's get some ideas together. What do you want to learn about when it comes to different energies? Do you want to look into relationships more? Do we need to focus on that? Is it career dynamics? Is it empowerment, embodiment dynamics? You know, what are your ideas for that? So I always get different inspirations, but from time to time, I really love to poll the audience. So if you have any ideas or anything just pops into your mind, please let me know what that is in the comments there. Thank you, Kimberly. Kimberly's still here. I can see some of you are still here, but maybe you're reflecting, taking notes, being quiet. We're going to get into the sun at 9511. So again, for those of you who like the numbers, 9511. And we are going to talk about our solar rhythms. So we're asking the cards to show us information, show us the energies behind our solar rhythms and our soul spark, what we came here to do, our mission, our purpose. We're imagining the sun rising and setting from the perspective that we are here on earth. Thank you, Ashley, here and loving today's message is wonderful. We're thinking about the sun's arc across the sky. We're thinking about sunrise, sunset, and everything in between, high noon. What are these rhythms? What are the creators needing to really understand about their unique soul spark, their rhythms? What is for them in this world here? Oh, wow. Okay. Definitely some discovery energy coming back into this. And then it's really interesting because I'm going to go with the card that feels like more of the stuck energy first. And it's the Four of Cups. There is some resistance coming up here for some of us, or for all of us, maybe in slightly different ways, that has to do with how open we are to what our mission and purpose is here. Some of you may not feel quite ready, or your mind has you thinking like all these boxes have to be checked before you can accept the cup that the universe wants to give you. You'll see that the character has hands crossed, maybe very cautious and distrustful of the energy trying to come in, maybe distracted, maybe a bit, what do I want to say? Numbed out. All right. So this kind of energy is coming in and saying this kind of being in this is normal. It comes in a cycle. It comes in a rhythm, just like anything. But we definitely don't want to get stuck here. This feels like the kind of energy that we could get stuck in, feeling like just really depressed and down and like nothing's working out for us. Some of you might be looking a little too much, or you find yourself at times a little overwhelmed by the collective energies that you're tuning into. Some of you can't help but do it because you just naturally are in tune to what's going on. You have curious minds. You look into what's going on. But this has to do with understanding that, yes, it's definitely correct to protect yourself from some of the energies that are out there. And at the same time, how can you trust your own heart in it to navigate through it? Because it is what it is. And we're swimming in the effects of cause points that in some cases were very dark, in some cases are very, twisted and inverted. And we're seeing it play out in our reality field, right? And this kind of energy, if we stay there for too long, it's not bad energy. We want to acknowledge it. But if there's anything you're distracting yourself with or numbing yourself out, it could be alcohol, it could be any substance that you put in your body. It could be food, it could be games or doom scrolling. It could be any of that kind of stuff. If you feel like, oops, I'm getting a little pulled too far into that, it might be time for a little break. Some of you may be or have recently maybe taken social media breaks. Okay, it can be hard for those of you who are doing businesses and things like that. I understand. But maybe your social media break is, I'm going 24 hours, no social media. I need to reset, right? This Four of Cups is coming up so that we can reset and get out of that numb feeling and into, or out of that depressed feeling and into our soul spark energy. And the good news is we have another energy here that really wants that. And it's the Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands, she is pointing her wand as if she's going to use it. Now, does she have it raised high above her head or anything quite yet? No. But she is preparing to do this. So I think there's an awareness that, yes, this energy has informed me. This energy has taught me something, but now it's time for me to make a move. I got to get moving out of these numb energies, and I have to kind of put that aside, and I have to get going. I have to meet these energies head on, because that's what I'm here for. That's where my passion lies. Wands is a fire card. That's where my soul spark is. And this is where your creative forces come into play. The Knight of Wands is quite active, but is definitely, definitely passionate. I love that she's wearing red. That connects me to a very rooted energy inside of you. So whatever might be going on to numb that energy out, let's become aware of it. Let's say, okay, yeah, I spent a little bit too much time on that game, you know, that match game or whatever I was doing, like merge game. I'm going to get off there. I'd spent a little too much time scrolling. I'm going to reset myself, you know, get in nature, maybe take a little action to get out and reset the energies here with the Knight of Wands. And what's really interesting is we go from the Knight, what in some cases people might think, oh, if you're reading the cards in order, is a backstep to the Ten of Wands. I don't see that this way. This Ten of Wands, if we really look at it, she's got a wand. There's the tarot cards falling all around. So here today, you know, you've received some messages, but even the messages you've received today, you process, you intuit for yourself, and then you let them go and you start taking the steps. And the 10 and the Knight go together here. The Ten of Wands sometimes gets is about burdens, and I think for some of you it's about releasing burdens. It's releasing the burden of the Four of Cups. It's releasing now that you have the information and the messages, it's releasing that and beginning to take some sort of action. So here as we come up, our solar rhythms here are coming up to let us know we've got to kind of decode this for ourselves. So each of you are going to have to decode it. In the background, we could see she's got hieroglyphics here, ancient language of symbols here. You're going to have to decode this for yourself if you want to live your purpose and your passion, which I think you do, but it just seems really hard to connect with that through all the muck sometimes, through all the dense soup. And that's kind of where we're at with it. We have to make that determination. With the Knight and the Ten of Wands coming in together, though, that's pretty good, passionate determination. And if you can lean into that, if you can decode that for yourself, if you can find the thread to pull, I think it will be really helpful. Let's get a Cosmic Energy Oracle card to close off this reading here. And be sure, I see Shireen's here. I see some of you are still here. Be sure to drop in the comments. Be sure to drop in the comments any ideas you have for readings or stories that you would like to hear, the kinds of interesting spiritual things that you would like to move into or hear more about, more personal stories from me. I would like to know kind of what your inkling is with that. Some of you are very connected with me on social media. You can DM me as well. Now, the cosmic energy connected to our soul spark here and the challenges we're facing is resilience. Resilience is your source of strength in challenges. Resilience is your source of strength. Now, I kind of want to pull back in light, which we got in a previous breakout reading, being connected to your inner light and embodying the feeling of resilience, because you are weathering some harder times. You're weathering some harder energies, and resilience is what you're going to pull on here. And understand the strength inside you. These wands cards, they're fiery, they're active, they're letting go, actively letting go, actively letting go. All right. Okay. And when I say actively letting go, it doesn't mean that it always happens where you just drop everything, right? And it's just, oh, I dropped it all, I let it go. That's not how letting go works. Sometimes it's like petal by petal, seed by seed. You know, these things have been in us. They're the roots. We're pulling, you know, we're having to dig them out. So letting go can sometimes be a bit of a process in order to step into our soul's spark and our truth in this world and what we're meant to do and be, how we're meant to shine. Takes resilience. All right, let's go ahead and get a message from Journey to the Divine Masculine. Oh, okay. Ashley says, my experience with chakras. Yeah, I had thought about doing a whole video about that. I do mention it from time to time, but yes, I've never sat down and done a video on the full story of it. That would be great. Great. I love that. Thank you. That's a great suggestion, because I said I'm going to do one sometime. But, you know, yeah, it's fascinating. That's a whole topic within itself, energy centers. So I would love to talk more about that and share how I work with having transcended the chakras, but still live in a world where people are legitimately working with chakra energy. It's a bit of a transitional phase energetically, I believe, for humanity. So yeah, really intriguing to talk about that. Great, Ashley. I really appreciate that. Okay, so when it comes to our soul spark and shining in the way we're meant to, the masculine energy is bringing up the energy of self-deception, denying your truth, allowing yourself to believe that a false or unvalidated idea or situation is true. It's time to fact check yourself, is what the masculine energies are saying. So is this Four of Cups energy, is the illusion and the inversion that you might be experiencing really true? Is that truly part of your soul spark? Is that truly part of your soul's blueprint? Or does this numbing out energy, this distraction energy, actually cause you to doubt and to deceive yourself, to talk yourself down, talk yourself out of things, right? That's where you want to go in the energy according to the masculine. So maybe some activity to do, because the masculine energies are active with getting real with yourself about what's true. Is this true about me? Has someone given you feedback? For some of you considering, has someone given you a feedback or a criticism? Remember, just because someone says something doesn't mean it's true. You have to factor in their perceptions. You have to factor in their triggers. You have to factor in how they perceive it, right? Working with that energy in yourself, what's true for you and what isn't. And sometimes it can be hardest to distinguish that with people we love and care about, those who are closest to us. So some of you might be deceiving yourself a bit because of what someone else has said, whether it be current or in the past. Have a look at that, because it could be dimming your light a little bit. Have some resilience, pick yourself up through that and say, okay. It also kind of feels to me like it's the energy of like, oh, I thought I'd healed that. Oh, I thought I'd already done that. And then a little part of it comes back up. Let's let that be okay. Let's let the tears flow if they need to. Let's let it be processed. The feminine energy brings up sorrow, Distress caused by loss, disappointment, or other misfortune suffered by yourself or others. For some of you, this is a deep sorrow within yourself or layers of sorrow that are still being processed, having to do with you, decisions you've made, relationships you've been in. All right, so you're releasing that. Again, none of this happens overnight. Soul growth, yes, we can have moments where we skyrocket quickly with something, but soul growth is a lifelong process, and sorrow is a part of it. If we didn't experience the deep sorrow, we would not have the connection to powerful, rewarding happiness either. So the feminine is like, let yourself cry, be gentle with yourself, grab the Kleenex. When it comes, let it out, right? We do not want to keep it in, because that will continue to reinforce some of the self-deception. We won't make any progress, and in extreme cases, we start to get sick if we don't process our emotions. So it's very important that when you're sad, to let yourself be sad. Maybe not be so quick to try to get yourself out of it, you know, knowing and trusting that when you are done processing the sorrow, you can move the energies with that wands and fire energies, with your own light, with your resilience here. I feel like I need to pull one final card for this particular reading from the Lover's Oracle here. So what is this energy I'm sensing about relationships? What do we need to know about relationships when it comes to our solar rhythm and our soul spark? It feels like something's here, maybe a couple things. Okay, we've got first this beautiful card. Look at that beautiful image. It says, the past is now behind you. Release it and embrace new possibilities. A new path is now available to you. Follow it with faith. Absolutely. I love that. And you know, this is when I felt like I should pull cards for relationships, think about this as it applies to relationships. Some of you are still releasing layers of sorrow. That's natural and normal. You're releasing it, and you can both release the old energies and embrace new possibilities at the same time. Life's a journey, not a destination. So you're having an experience and letting that be okay. It says here too, there we go. For those of you seeking out a divine counterpart, look deep within your heart and you will feel my love. My love for you is as deep as the ocean. So this is an acknowledgement for those of you who might be single, or you might be out there dating. Look deep within your heart. You will feel my love. My love for you is as deep as the ocean. There is a connection out there. There is an energy. It may not be fully manifest in the physical, but the more you work to align with your solar rhythm, with your solar spiral of creation, the solar spiral is how we move through life, and we're supposed to be on a creative path. But everything in the effects field in the world has us on a reactive path. And so we want to get back into creating, and we want to get back into that spark. And as we do that, that's when we attract in this, or we attract in those new levels to our existing relationships and romances. We go deeper, we go further into it, right? We discover new things about ourselves. Wow. Really, really powerful energies today at 1:12:42. So I'm going to wrap up with a few reminders. Sunday evening, if you're new to my channel, for subscribers only, I do free mini Q&A, little mini tarot readings. This is where you can come on and ask a personal question. 7 to 8 p.m. Central this Sunday, the 27th. I would love to have you there. If you're really dying to ask a question, make sure you get on early, because sometimes I run out of time. I end at 8. So try to come on early. Susanna, hello, and you're most welcome. Thank you for commenting there. But I would like to welcome you also. Check out my playlist. Check out that community post section. You can now participate. You could give suggestions or ask questions or say it would be great to see this kind of content or that kind of content. I may or may not take all suggestions, right? I've got to follow my own intuition with that, but I would like to hear more from you all. Yes, Susanna, we're wrapping up Frequency Friday, but here in a little bit, it will be processed with timestamps for ease. We did an oracle, a collective oracle reading, and we did 4 breakout readings inspired by my recent trip to South Padre Island. And we did that by elemental energy. So it's been really neat to look into these and get some good tips. So what else? I'm going to have, for any of you that have the Cancerian energy, Sun, Moon, Rising, North Node, I've got a long form video coming out probably later today, maybe tomorrow on that. I've got the live on Sunday night, and then I also have a timeless Gemini reading coming out for those of you who are working with those Gemini energies. And then we'll see. I am really kind of pivoting and seeing where I go with things next. A lot of things are changing too here on YouTube with finding out that a lot of people are watching on TVs now, watching their television and watching YouTube like they would like Netflix and binging. So I really want to create something that's a storyline, and something with the tarot or otherwise. Maybe it's the chakras that people can follow and get into and kind of take the journey with me. So if you have other ideas, don't feel ashamed or hold back with dropping them in the comments. This is a community of creators, and I value deeply and have so much gratitude for your inputs. You can also message me privately on social media on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok. You can find me there at Creators on the Crest. I've enjoyed my time with you all today, getting back into things after taking a sabbatical last week. And I look forward to seeing you next time. So stay tuned, stay true, and keep creating.